Wow, this is crazy. As soon as you enter, you're greeted by a whole bunch of Ferraris. Oh my gosh, would you look at that? They have an 812 Superfast. Lamborghini Aventador S, but let's start right over here with this 430 Scuderia, one of the limited edition V8 mid-engine supercars from Ferrari. It's got a 4.3 liter V8 pumping out 510 horsepower, roughly 375, 380 kilowatts. This car is impressive. Oh my gosh, would you just look at that? Mid-engine, so the engine is all the way at the back. This one's got a carbon fiber option instead of the usual red that we normally see. It's got this black metallic paint job, obviously with the stripes that run across the car all the way to the back in gray. That could be Argento Nürburgring, potentially. It's got the Scuderia shields right over there. Nice titanium, satin titanium wheels with red brake calipers. This is a proper track car, one of the limited edition cars. This car has a convertible sibling. Only 499 of those were made, and it's known as the 16M Scuderia. This car is currently going for 5.5 million rand. It only has 5,000 kilometers on the clock. 2008 car. That is a bargain. That is a bargain. Calling it the best spec in South Africa. I think I would agree with that. All right, moving on to the successor of this car, 458 Speciale. Oh my gosh, would you just look at it? A nice white color, black stripes and the silver on the outsides. Man, this is probably one of the best Ferrari collectible cars today. Well, at least it's my favorite Ferrari. 458 Speciale, powered by a 4.5 liter naturally aspirated V8, generating 605 horsepower, roughly 597 horsepower, actually, just under 441 kilowatts of power. Oh man, this car is also optioned out with a carbon fiber engine bay instead of the usual red. So obviously the previous owner spec'd it up to the max. We got these satin gray. I think these are actually cool. I love this spec. Ooh, we got the petrol cap in carbon fiber. That's also a nice touch. I love the white and the yellow contrast as well as with the wheels. I think that goes on. That just matches perfectly. And if you check out the inside, it's got racing seats with the yellow interior right in the middle. Alcantara, I believe. I'm not sure if it's open. I don't want to set it off. Let's see. I mean, you could just try, right? I suppose. Oh, it's locked. I'm pretty sure these limited ones are actually locked. But that's okay. I'm sure we'll get to some cars that aren't. So 458 Speciale, amazing car. It also has a convertible sibling, of which there are only 499 of those made. The 458 Speciale Aperta. Impressive car. And then we move on to the successor of the 458 Speciale in the form of the 488 Pista. Now this car is mind-boggling. I think it's only at this point where Ferrari turned to turbocharging. So it's powered by a 3.9 liter twin turbocharged V8 with 720 PS, 711 brake horsepower. This car is a beast. Check out some of the features. Ferrari went crazy with the spec and just the aerodynamics of this car. So if you can see here, this line, this strip down there, it actually continues through there. There's a hole, which they call the S duct, and airflow is supposed to come out from through here over the car to keep the car planted. I believe this is a Rosso Corsa paint job with the gold wheels. Ooh, and they're all satin, they're not shiny. So satin gold, Scuderia shields, obviously you'd want that on your car to be a high spec. You've got carbon fiber insets all the way. Cooling for the engine as you drive along. Engine here also optioned out in carbon fiber. I'm not sure if this is a theme on the limited edition V8 cars. I wonder if this is just like a standard thing or have the customers actually spec'd out this option. So really cool car. Oh my gosh, look at that. Got the twin exhaust pipes right at the back here. Got the F1 fog light, some F1 technology going on there. This car is spec'd out to the max. It's got a whole lot of carbon fiber. Oh my gosh, we should just look at that carbon fiber there. I believe this one is also locked. Try and open it. Oh, okay, it is open. Let's have a look at the interior. Oh my gosh, just look at that. Alcantara on the dashboard there. You got carbon fiber on the steering wheel as well as Alcantara and leather. You've got carbon fiber flappy paddle gearbox. That is also awesome. Amazing carbon fiber there. You've got the 4-point racing harnesses. Obviously, as this car is a track-focused derivative of the 488 GTB. This car also has a convertible sibling in the form of the 488 Pista Spider. So yeah, I believe also those are limited to 499 units worldwide. We have a couple here in South Africa. So yeah, very rare, but we do have a couple. And then we move on to this. Now, after the 488 GTB and the special editions that came after it, in the form of the 488 Pista and the Pista Spider, came the F8 Tributo. Now this was a tribute, as the name suggests, tribute to the award-winning Ferrari V8 engines of the last 4 or 5 years, I believe, still with the same engine. It's a 3.9 liter twin turbocharged V8 with 720 horsepower, 711 brake horsepower, and it's just insane. So as you can see, the shield here at the back, the engine bay, it's got these 3 louvers. That's reminiscent of the F40 from back in the 80s, one of the, well, actually arguably the best Ferrari to date. Now, I have not driven this car. I have not driven the F40, but just from reviews and what I've seen online, everybody seems to think that the F40 is a proper driver's car. One of the last cars that Enzo Ferrari actually signed off before, unfortunately, he passed away. So as I said, it's a tribute car. It's got a whole lot of bits and pieces from other Ferraris of old. You've got the 4 tail lights, which is actually different from what we saw from the previous generations. I believe these only have the 2. Let's just confirm that. 2 on each side, as you can see on the 488 Pista. There's only 2 there. This one also has 2. But way back in 2008, they actually had the 4, so they brought those back in the F8 Tributo. So that's also reminiscent of the T288 GTO. I believe that also had like 4 lights at the back. You can see this is a theme with current Ferraris. In the form of even the GTC4 Lusso has that. The A12 Superfast also has the 4 windows at the back. And if we just go around, it's actually a pretty decent spec. Hopefully we'll check it out on the inside, but unfortunately, fortunately, this one has the price on it. It's a 2020 model, only has 100 kilometers on the clock for 7.6 million rand. How cool is that? How cool is that? So it's got some parts. The engine is similar to the 488 Pista, that's right back there, in terms of specs and everything. It also has the S-duct, which is the opening down here. Lets air out come out from right over there. This is a slightly lighter red, so I'm tempted to think probably Rosso Dino instead of the traditional Rosso Corsa. But actually it says Rosso Corsa on the spec sheet, so I am wrong there. But let's see if this one is open. Oh, here we go. Oh my gosh. Would you just look at that? Ferrari models always have the model name on the dash there just to let you know what you are in. There's carbon fiber right below that. You've got the bridge where you got your reverse, auto, and launch buttons. You also have the hazards, window controls, and a little Ferrari badge over there, and the little storage pouch down there as well. There's a bit of space in the back there where you could just probably put some few things, parcels, small bags, and the like. Ooh, that steering wheel is actually pretty cool. Let me actually swing over to the other side so we can get a closer look at that. Ooh, man, the cars here are insane. Oh my gosh. I mean, I want to sit in one of these. Oh, yes. Woo. Would you look at that? Oh my gosh, look at that. Traditional screen. You've got the model right over there. Got the rev counter, and I believe you can also put something else there. You can have your sat nav or car controls, settings, and things like that. There you can also choose whatever you want using these controls on the steering wheel. Pretty cool, really cool, really cool. So it's Ferrari, I think starting with the 458, that's when they started putting buttons on the steering wheel, just to, I believe their idea was to keep your hands on the steering wheel always. And I think that's a good safety feature, especially in some of these very fast cars. Although I do think that life does get busy on the steering wheel. There's a lot of buttons, but obviously I don't know what it's like to live with. I haven't driven one of these, so I wouldn't know just how that would work practically in the real world. However, I mean, it does look good. It does look good. There's carbon fiber over there. You've got the lights, engine start-stop button. You've got the Mandantino, where you can change all the driving characteristics of the car. Let me just show you that. There it is. Ooh, just trying to focus on it. Okay. Alright, so you've got wet mode. So if you were to just start over here, there's wet mode. Then you move on to sport, race, CT off, and then ESC, where you turn everything completely off. ESC standing for electronic stability control. So the car is basically no driver aids. It's just you and the engine and the tarmac. Really insane. I love these seats. Actually very comfortable. If you actually have a look, they're not as racy. They look like bucket seats. actually very comfortable. They're not as harsh as I thought they would be. It's got the standard seat belts, just the one. No racing harnesses here. Try to hop on outside. Ugh. Okay, it's also interesting to know that the door lever is right over here. And that's how you just flick it open to get out. Alrighty. F8 Tributo. Really cool car. Oh, there's an E63 accelerating out there. Sorry. Didn't have focus. But anyway, another example of a 458 Speciale. Oh man, this one with the black stripes and the white on the outside. That's actually silver, probably a Gento Nürburgring. It's probably the only Ferrari silver color that I know by name. Similar thing. It's also got the carbon fiber engine bay right here. So pretty awesome spec. Unfortunately, this does not have a price tag. But yeah, twin exhaust, carbon fiber, diffuser all around. Really cool car. I think this is probably my favorite limited edition Ferrari V8 car. To be honest, it's just spectacular. Let's see if this one is open with the gold wheels. Actually matte gold, so that's actually pretty dope. It's also open. Interesting spec. A lot of carbon fiber inside there. Oh my goodness. Would you just look at that? There's carbon fiber over there. The gear levers, the steering wheel, Alcantara on the dash. You've got Alcantara even on the seats. These are actually bucket seats. It's hard right back there. No racing harnesses in this car. Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Ooh, 458 just started outside. 458 Italia. So this 458 Speciale is actually based off of that. So this is a limited edition of that. Obviously this has more power, more torque, is a lot faster and a lot lighter compared to the production version, which is the 458 Italia out there. Ooh, sounds amazing. But anyway, I'm gonna draw your attention back to this. Oh man, I thought you guys can actually hear me thanks to this thing. I'm not complaining. Not complaining. Oh man. Bye 458. Probably gonna park it up right at the back there, or it's probably driving in actually. I have a feeling it's actually coming back in. Ooh. Well, you don't mind if we kind of like take a commercial break as we let the 458 just drive in. Listen to that V8. Oh my goodness. That noise is gonna be a memory of the past very, very soon, with electric cars and hybrid cars coming very soon. Pretty decent spec too. We've got the white, probably what, Bianco Fuji maybe. Got the 5-spoke wheels, red brake calipers. Got the red roof. That's also a very rare option. I believe you can option that as well, instead of the body color entirely around the car. Awesome spec. Just look at that. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we like that. We like that. Interesting piece of kit. But anyway, back to the Aventador. This is actually an Aventador Roadster S, which means it's a facelift version of the Aventador that came out in 2011, 2012. This came out around about 2016, I'd like to believe, when the SV was out of production, was going out of production. So it's a slight bump from the standard Aventador, which was an LP 700-4. This is an LP 740-4, so 40 more horsepowers, and this is in roadster form. So you get to hear that 6.5 liter naturally aspirated V12 just bellow. Oh my goodness. As you can see, it's slightly open. The engine right in the back here. Oh man, would you just look at this thing? My goodness, it's got a crazy price tag as well. 10.5 million rand. 10.5 million rand. And I think it's fairly new. I don't think it's done much. Actually, it's okay. 2018 model. It's done 6,800 kilometers, and the price is 10.5 million rand. Oh man. You know what? Because of what's happening nowadays with the way the world is headed in terms of noise regulations, emissions regulations, and the overall downsizing of engines, I think these cars are actually going to be collectibles. Because if you have one of these, I don't think you should be selling it. Because in 5-10 years time, they may not be making cars with naturally aspirated engines, or even a V12. I'm not sure what the success of the Aventador is going to have. Although Lamborghini are adamant that it will have a V12. It could be electrically assisted in the form of just an extra hybrid motor, electric motor, and things like that. But, and what pains me the most is I won't be able to experience, I don't know, I mean perhaps with your help, if you guys like and subscribe to the channel, it grows and I attract some owners who will be generous enough to let me drive their cars. That would be amazing, because I have not experienced this. And to think that they're going to be extinct in the near future without me having to do it. I'm just like, no, like, I want to drive one, you know? So it's insane. It is insane. But I really love this car. I love this spec. I mean, if I were here, I'll probably scoop up everything. Like all of these Ferraris. The 430 Scuderia, the 458 Speciale. I'll probably get a Pista just because it's more recent. Maybe not the F8 Tributo, because that's like, I mean, these are more limited, so obviously the value will go up. And I'm sure we'll get to more of those as we move on along the dealership. But this is amazing. This is really awesome. I love this Aventador. My gosh. It's insane. I mean, we need cars like this. A lot of people ask me, dude, why do you like supercars so much? They're heavily impractical. Yeah, but that's not the point. You know, that's not the point. I mean, we need stuff like this. I mean, cars are so mundane. They're all the same. You need something that just looks at you and goes, blah, you know, from time to time. So, yeah, interior looks very minimalistic. Life is not very busy on the steering wheel, just minimal buttons over there. You've got the flappy paddle gearbox. Most of the controls are here. Your lights, as well as the fog lights. It looks like cruise control actually. That's also pretty cool. I believe this car has a lift system. I just cannot spot the button, so it does have some level of practicality. And one of the cool things about the Aventador, let me actually hop in. I mean, why not? I don't do anything to drive this thing. All right, one of the cool things, one of the cool features is that, man, just open a young switch, and that's how you start it up. Press on the brake, foot on the brake, you press this button, start it up. My gosh, how cool is that? How cool is that? Oh, it looks so dope. Looks so dope. Obviously, you got all these controls that control the little screen over there. Buttons, ESC off, that's your traction control. I believe you can actually turn off the auto start stop when the car comes to a complete stop. The engine cuts off just to save fuel. So it's a mechanism that they're using nowadays. You've got the window thing. Here's the lift system, so you can actually raise it up slightly depending on what sort of bump is coming ahead of you, which is also a pretty cool feature. I like the orange contrast. Got the Alcantara and the diamond stitching. Got the Lamborghini logo embossed over there. Really cool car. Oh my gosh, this is insane. It's crazy. I love it. I love it so much. All right, Lamborghini Aventador S Roadster. Let's move on. Ooh, there's an A12 Superfast. Oh my gosh, would you just look at that? That is insane. So as we were talking about earlier, that side with the theme of the 4 tailpipes, this also has that. It's the current Super GT that Ferrari is making, with a 6.5 liter naturally aspirated V12, 800 PS or 789 brake horsepower. That's roughly 588 kilowatts, 618 newton meters of torque. It does 0 to 100 in 2.8 seconds. 2.8 seconds roughly. 0 to 100. So the car as is, from a standstill, from this position, accelerating all the way to 100 kilometers an hour in just 2.8 seconds. I mean, let that sink in. I'll give you a second. Yeah, 2.8 seconds. 0 to 100. That's insane.